What up, party people? I know I said I was done doing videos and everything, but I've been keeping up with this impeachment trial, and oh my God. I don't understand. I really don't understand. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna ask y'all to do a favor. The whole time I had this channel, I never asked y'all for a favor. At the end of this video, I'm gonna ask y'all to do me a favor. All right. First, okay, let's talk about the impeachment trial. The defense done used their time to plead their case. Now, well, not the defense, the Democrats. That's what I meant to say. The Democrats. And now the defense is pleading their case. And my whole thing about this trial is, I'm not even gonna say that somebody's innocent or guilty. I'ma just plead why we should have more testimony and more evidence in this trial. All right? Because apparently, to me, that's what both sides want. Even with all this bickering back and forth, Democrats against Republicans, what both sides apparently want is more information and more testimony. The Republicans get on the news, mainstream media, and say, oh, they keep talking about the same thing. They're just dredging up the same talking points. They just keep talking about the same thing. There's no new evidence. Now, the Republicans want new evidence, and the Democrats, they say the same thing. We've been over the same information. We're going through the same thing. We need more evidence. We need new evidence. So both sides agree that they need more and new evidence. But the accused, President Donald Trump, refuses to give up that evidence. He's not letting anybody testify, and he's not releasing any documents. So even though both the Republicans and the Democrats agree that there's not enough evidence out there right now, the person or the accused that the Republicans are trying to protect is keeping all the evidence to himself. He's not letting anybody testify. He's not releasing any documents. So their whole argument that, oh, the president never had a chance to tell his side of the story. Oh, we've only heard the Democrats. We don't get a chance to pick who we want to testify. Here's your chance. You know what? I don't care who testifies. I don't care if it's Mulvaney, Barr, Pompeo, Pence, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden. At this point, I really don't care who testifies. As long as they bring out more evidence, as long as they testify. Everybody wants to hear from somebody, even though I don't know what the Bidens are going to, it's not going to help. Because even if you're saying that the Bidens committed a crime and Trump committed a crime in order to out the Bidens' crime, you still have to admit that Trump committed a crime. So we should just look over that? Because he wanted to out another crime by the Bidens? Not saying that the Bidens committed a crime, but that's pretty much their argument, or at least one of their arguments. Same thing with abuse of power. They're saying that the president never abused his power. He's ignoring subpoenas. He's keeping key witnesses from testifying. He's not releasing any documents. So you mean to tell me, think about it. I'm talking to all American citizens in this country. If you're accused of a crime and you have witnesses that can validate your innocence, and you have documentation that validate your innocence, but you just want to keep that all to yourself. You're accused of a crime, and the accused wants to keep the evidence that, in his words, can validate his innocence. But he don't want to release any other information. We're just supposed to take his word for it. And mind you, the same president that want to claim more victories than any other president has contradicted the facts more than any other president. And he's number 45. He's number 45. And he's contradicted the facts. I'm not even going to call them lies. They're lies, but I'm not even going to call them lies. He has contradicted facts more than any other president in history. And the Republican stance is that we're supposed to just take the accused word for it. And he will not release any information or any testimony proclaiming his innocence if he did nothing wrong. If you was accused of a crime and you was on trial, and there's people that can validate your innocence, and there's documentation that can validate your innocence, but you refuse to let any of that information or testimony out, we're supposed to just take your word for it. A man that has contradicted facts more times than any other president in history. Really? Like, seriously, really? Because this right here is the question that I want to ask all those Republican senators or Democratic senators that are protecting the president. In this democracy, in this country we call America, American justice is proving you're innocent, period. Because you could be innocent and still found guilty. If you're innocent, you have to prove you're innocent. There has been countless times where the innocent has been found guilty because they had no proof of innocence. So in this country, justice means you have to prove your innocence. So by everything that Donald J. Trump is saying, he has witnesses and documentation proving his innocence, but he don't want to let any of that information out because this is a sham trial. This isn't a sham trial. The defense of this president is a sham. If you're going to have a fair trial, you need all the information available, all the testimony available, and all the witnesses available. Period. At a minimum. If you want a fair trial, y'all keep talking about, or the Republicans keep talking about, oh, Trump never had the chance to plead his case. Here's his chance. Mulvaney, Barr, Pompeo, Pence, let them all come in and tell Trump's side of the story. He got documentation. Show the documentation that tells your side of the story. This right here is your chance. But he doesn't want to because he feels, in his opinion, it's a sham trial. And the Republicans who wants to defend this is saying we should take his word for it. The accused. We should take the accused word for it. How is that according to the Constitution? How is that according to American justice? How is that according to democracy? How is that according to the American way? And multiple people in this man's administration has either served time for committing crimes or are currently in jail for committing crimes. And mind you, what this man is saying, it was no quid pro quo. His personal lawyer is currently conducting that investigation. He says, President Trump says, oh, it's not for me. He's just doing that on his own. Giuliani says, his personal attorney says, he's doing it on the behest of Trump or the State Department, depending on wherever interview he's doing at the time. So what you're trying to say is that the favor he was asking for in that phone call, in the summary of one document that he released, what you're trying to say is that was a misunderstanding. He wanted a recipe for a Ukrainian dish. And everybody in his administration from July all the way to September misunderstood it as he wanted an investigation into the Bidens. Even though he stepped out on the White House lawn and not only asked the Ukrainians to investigate the Bidens, but China too. But that wasn't a favor he was referring to. And he didn't hold up the aid for that favor. We're just supposed to take this man's word for it. And as a Republican senator, for a senator that took the oath, you want us to take this man's word for it, somebody who has contradicted facts more times than any other president. The accused. We don't need no more testimony. We don't need any more evidence. We don't need any more witnesses. We can just take his word for it. Because in your opinion, he ain't doing it. But mind you, you're also arguing that you don't have enough information and you don't have enough evidence. And the accused is holding the evidence. Excuse me. They're saying he obstructed justice. Republicans are saying he never abused his power. He's ignoring subpoenas. He's ignoring subpoenas and testimony to the same stuff that, in his words, can prove him innocent. But he's not obstructing justice. Let me tell you something. You try ignoring a subpoena, especially a federal subpoena. Try ignoring a federal subpoena and see what happens to you. Try telling the authorities when they investigate you that they can't have information that, in your words, can prove you innocent. Try telling them that and see what happens to you. But he's supposed to be able to get away with this because of executive privilege, which once again is not a law, it's a courtesy. How in the world does that possibly make sense? If you want a fair trial, hear all the testimony, hear from all the witnesses, look at all the documentation, period. End of story. And then make your own deliberations. If he's innocent, the evidence will say he's innocent. If he's guilty, the evidence will say he's guilty. That's it. But once again, he's going to hold all the evidence. He's going to block all the testimony and keep all the key witnesses with new evidence and new testimony from testifying because he feels he shouldn't be investigated. And as Republican senators, that's the American way. We're just supposed to take his word for it. This is when I ask you a favor. And the favor I ask that I've never asked before was like, comment, and share this video. Because I want to hear an answer. I want to hear an answer from every Republican and every Democrat that defends this. Why should we take his word for it? You claim he never had a chance to give his side. He could give his side right now, but he refuses to. You want us to take his word for it. He could testify, but he refuses to. But you want us to take the accused who has contradicted fact more than any other president word for it. Why in the world should we take his word for it? Please like, comment, and share this video because I want this to get out to every Democrat and every Republican and every Trump supporter. Why in the world should we take his word for it? Answer me that question. This man has been known, videoed, and audioed to contradict fact. He's the accused. But no more evidence is needed. No more testimony is needed. You don't need to hear from any more witnesses. We should just take his word for it. And even though you're saying that the Democrats' evidence isn't enough, you don't want to see anything else. You don't want to hear no more testimony. You don't want to look at any more documents. You just want to take his word for it. And we should do the same. Please get this video out. I'm not saying I'm back, but that right there is a question that is burning my soul. Somebody answer. Why in the world should we take this man's word for it? Y'all be blessed, be safe, one.